Lily had always been a dreamer. As a little girl, she would spend hours gazing out her bedroom window, imagining fantastical worlds and epic romances. Now at 25, she still found herself lost in daydreams more often than she cared to admit. Her practical side had won out when it came to her career. She was an accountant at a mid-sized firm in the city. The work was steady and paid the bills, even if it didn't set her soul on fire. But in her heart, Lily still longed for adventure and passion. It was a crisp autumn morning when Lily first laid eyes on Grayson. She was hurrying to catch her train, pumpkin spice latte in hand, when she quite literally ran into him on the platform. Hot coffee splashed across his crisp white shirt as they collided. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!" Lily exclaimed, mortified. She frantically dug through her purse for napkins. The stranger chuckled good-naturedly. "No worries, accidents happen, though I have to say, this is a first for me. Death by pumpkin spice." Lily looked up and found herself staring into the most mesmerizing green eyes she'd ever seen. The man before her was tall and lean, with tousled dark hair and a roguish smile that made her heart skip a beat. "I'm Grayson," he said, extending his hand. "Lily," she replied, shaking it. "I feel terrible about your shirt. Please, let me pay for the dry cleaning." Grayson waved her off. "Don't worry about it, but I wouldn't say no to you buying me a coffee sometime to make up for it." Lily felt a blush creeping up her cheeks. Was he asking her out? Before she could respond, the train pulled up and passengers began flooding the platform. "This is me," Grayson said. "What do you say? Coffee next week? Same time, same place?" Lily nodded, a bit dazed. "Sure, that sounds great." With a wink, Grayson boarded the train. Lily watched as it pulled away, her heart racing. She was going to be late for work, but for once, she didn't care. Something told her that her life was about to get a lot more interesting. The next week crawled by at an agonizing pace. Lily found herself daydreaming about Grayson constantly. What did he do for a living? What were his passions? Would there be a spark between them? When Friday finally arrived, Lily spent far too long agonizing over her outfit. She settled on a soft blue sweater that brought out her eyes, dark jeans, and boots. As she made her way to the train station, butterflies danced in her stomach. To her relief, Grayson was there, waiting with 2 steaming cups of coffee. His face lit up when he saw her approaching. "Good morning, Lily," he said warmly. "I wasn't sure how you took your coffee, so I got you a pumpkin spice latte." Seemed fitting. Lily laughed. "Perfect choice, though I promise not to spill this one on you." They found a bench and sat down to chat. Lily learned that Grayson was a freelance photographer who specialized in travel and nature shots. He regaled her with stories of his adventures around the world, trekking through the Amazon, photographing the northern lights in Iceland, camping under the stars in the Australian outback. Lily was captivated. Grayson's passion for exploration and capturing beauty was infectious. She found herself opening up about her own dreams of travel and seeing the world. "What's stopping you?" Grayson asked. Lily shrugged. "Oh, work, responsibilities. It's not really practical." Grayson's eyes twinkled. "Sometimes the most worthwhile things in life aren't practical. You only get one life, Lily. Why not make it an adventure?" His words struck a chord deep within her. For the first time in years, Lily felt a spark of possibility ignite in her chest. They ended up talking for hours, long after their coffee had gone cold. Lily was captivated by Grayson's free spirit and zest for life. He listened intently as she shared her own hopes and dreams, making her feel truly seen. As the morning faded into afternoon, Grayson reluctantly said he had to go meet a client. But before he left, he asked Lily on a proper date the following evening. Her heart soared as she eagerly accepted. That night, Lily could hardly sleep. Her mind kept replaying their conversation, imagining all the possibilities that lay ahead. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly alive with excitement. Their first official date was magical. Grayson took her to a hidden rooftop garden overlooking the city. They sipped wine and nibbled on cheese and fruit as the sun set, painting the sky in brilliant hues of pink and gold. Lily found herself opening up to Grayson in a way she never had with anyone before. She confessed her secret dream of becoming a writer and how she'd always been too afraid to pursue it. Grayson listened intently, his eyes never leaving hers. When she finished speaking, he took her hand in his. "Lily, you have a light inside you that's just waiting to shine," he said softly. "Don't let fear hold you back from becoming who you're meant to be." In that moment, as the last rays of sunlight gilded Grayson's face, Lily knew she was falling for him, hard and fast. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of romance and adventure. Grayson constantly pushed Lily out of her comfort zone in the best possible ways. He took her rock climbing, introduced her to exotic cuisines, and encouraged her to start writing again. For her part, Lily felt like she was blossoming under Grayson's attention. She rediscovered her passion for life and started to see the world through new eyes. Even mundane tasks like grocery shopping became an adventure with Grayson by her side. One crisp Saturday morning, Grayson showed up at Lily's apartment with a picnic basket and a mischievous grin. "Pack a bag," he said. "We're going on an adventure." Lily's practical side started to protest. She had chores to do, errands to run. But one look at Grayson's excitement, and she found herself throwing caution to the wind. They drove for hours, windows down and music blasting. Lily had no idea where they were going, but she found she didn't care. She was with Grayson, and that was all that mattered. As the sun began to set, they arrived at a secluded beach. Grayson led Lily to a spot where he'd set up a cozy tent and campfire. "I thought we could use a night away from the city," he explained. "Just us and the stars." Lily's heart swelled with emotion. No one had ever done anything so romantic for her before. They spent the evening talking, laughing, and stargazing. As they lay side by side on a blanket, fingers intertwined, Lily felt a sense of peace wash over her. She turned to look at Grayson, illuminated by the flickering firelight, and knew with certainty that she was in love. Grayson must have sensed the shift in her energy. He propped himself up on one elbow, gazing down at her with an intensity that made her breath catch. "Lily," he said softly, "I think I'm falling in love with you." Joy bubbled up inside her. "I think I'm falling in love with you too," she whispered back. Their lips met in a kiss that was tender and passionate all at once. In that moment, Lily felt like her whole life had been leading to this point. The next few months were pure bliss. Lily and Grayson were inseparable, spending every free moment together. He encouraged her to start submitting her writing to literary magazines, celebrating every small victory with her. She pushed him to pursue his dream of publishing a photography book. But as winter faded into spring, cracks began to appear in their seemingly perfect relationship. Grayson's free-spirited nature, which Lily had found so appealing at first, started to chafe against her more practical sensibilities. He would often show up unannounced, whisking her away on impromptu adventures. While Lily loved the excitement, she also craved stability and routine. She started to feel torn between her responsible side and the carefree woman she was with Grayson. Things came to a head when Grayson was offered a 3-month assignment photographing wildlife in Africa. It was an incredible opportunity, but it would mean being apart for a significant chunk of time. "Come with me," Grayson urged. "We could have an amazing adventure together." Lily's heart yearned to say yes, but the reality of her job, her apartment lease, her responsibilities weighed heavily. "I can't just drop everything and leave," she said. "I have commitments here." Disappointment flickered in Grayson's eyes. "Is that really what you want? To stay stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill you?" His words stung. "That's not fair," Lily protested. "Just because I can't run off at a moment's notice doesn't mean my life lacks meaning." They argued late into the night, rehashing old grievances and frustrations. In the end, Grayson left angry, and Lily went to bed in tears. The next few weeks were agonizing. Lily threw herself into work, trying to ignore the Grayson-shaped hole in her life. But everything reminded her of him: the coffee shop where they first met, the park where they'd spent lazy Sundays, even the night sky which now seemed dimmer without him beside her. As Grayson's departure date approached, Lily's resolve began to waver. Was she really going to let him leave without saying goodbye? Without fighting for what they had? The night before his flight, Lily found herself outside Grayson's apartment. Her hand trembled as she knocked on the door. When Grayson answered, the look of surprise and hope on his face nearly undid her. Lily, he breathed. I didn't think I'd see you again. I couldn't let you leave without talking, she said. Can I come in? They sat on opposite ends of the couch, the distance between them feeling vast. Lily took a deep breath, steeling herself for what she needed to say. I love you, Grayson, she began. These past months with you have been the happiest of my life. You've shown me a whole new way of seeing the world and myself. Grayson's eyes softened, but he remained silent, waiting for her to continue. But I've realized that I can't be the person you want me to be, Lily went on. I'm not cut out for a life of constant adventure and unpredictability. I need roots, stability. I want to build a life, not just live from moment to moment. Pain flashed across Grayson's face. I never meant to make you feel like you had to change who you are, he said quietly. I love you for exactly who you are, Lily. Tears pricked at Lily's eyes. I know, and I love you too. But I think we want different things out of life. It's not fair to either of us to try to force it to work. Grayson was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was thick with emotion. So this is it? We're just giving up? Lily's heart clenched. I don't want to, but I don't see how we can make it work long term. We're too different. They talked long into the night, rehashing memories and sharing tears. In the end, they agreed that it was best to part ways. Lily left Grayson's apartment feeling hollowed out, like a vital piece of herself had been left behind. The next few months were a blur of grief and healing. Lily threw herself into her writing, pouring her pain onto the page. To her surprise, she found that her work was stronger and more authentic than ever before. As spring bloomed into summer, Lily slowly began to feel like herself again. She started to appreciate the stability and routine of her life, while still holding on to the sense of adventure Grayson had awakened in her. One sunny afternoon, Lily was sitting in her favorite coffee shop working on her novel when a familiar voice made her heart skip a beat. Is the seat taken? She looked up to find Grayson standing there, looking just as handsome as she remembered. Her breath caught in her throat. Grayson, she managed. What are you doing here? I thought you were in Africa. He smiled sheepishly. I was, but I realized something while I was there. Lily's pulse quickened. What's that? Grayson sat down across from her. I realized that all the adventures in the world don't mean anything if I don't have someone to share them with, someone who grounds me and makes me want to be a better man. Lily's eyes widened. What are you saying? I'm saying that I love you, Lily, Grayson said earnestly, and I'm willing to compromise, to find a balance between adventure and stability, if you'll have me. Joy and trepidation warred within Lily. But what about your photography, your travels? Grayson reached across the table to take her hand. I can still do all that, but I want to build a home base with you, to have roots to come back to. You were right before. There's value in stability too. Lily's heart soared. Are you sure? I don't want you to resent me for holding you back. I've never been more sure of anything, Grayson said firmly. These months apart made me realize that a life without you isn't one I want to live. We can figure out the details together. Tears of happiness spilled down Lily's cheeks. I love you too, she whispered. I never stopped. Their lips met in a kiss that felt like coming home. As they broke apart, both grinning like fools, Lily knew that this was just the beginning of their greatest adventure yet. In the years that followed, Lily and Grayson built a life together that was the perfect blend of stability and excitement. They bought a cozy house in the city, which became their sanctuary between Grayson's photography assignments. Lily continued to write, eventually publishing her first novel to critical acclaim. They traveled often, but always came back to the home they'd created together. Their love deepened and matured, growing stronger with each passing day. Looking back, Lily realized that their time apart had been necessary. It had allowed them both to grow as individuals and gain clarity on what they truly wanted in life. Now they were partners in the truest sense, supporting each other's dreams while building a shared vision for their future. As she watched Grayson playing with their young daughter in the backyard, Lily's heart swelled with gratitude. She had found her great love story after all, one filled with passion, growth and the perfect balance of adventure and home.